Very good evening, everyone. Live from the Maximir Stadium in Zagreb. Some near 38,000 packed in here for this Group E Euro 2008 qualifier. And the formalities are just about done with. The referees and his assistants, all from Malta, shaking hands with both sides. And we're just about set to get proceedings underway. Quite a formidable place this is to come and play football at the best of times, but when the gap between the two sides is such a wide one, such a vast one in international terms, it's an uphill struggle for Andora and their coach in short, David Rodrigo, who has been up against it ever since he took over in the early 90s. They've only been playing international football for some 10 years, Andorra. They've never won a European Championship qualifying match, and against the side in Croatia, who are some 120 odd places above them in the FIFA World Rankings. In short, one of the young stars and one of the more experienced in the lineup, Josip Simonic carrying the number 3 alongside the number 19 of Niko Kranjčar. Some last-minute prayers to the footballing gods. Almost a worried look in the face of one or two of these players as well. They have won on the international stage, Andorra. It took them 8 years to register their first success internationally, and that came in the recent World Cup qualifying campaign, in which they failed to get to Germany 2006, but they did manage success along the way, including their first ever international success at home against Macedonia in October of 2004. They recorded a couple of draws in that tournament as well. A draw away to Macedonia, home against Finland as well, but up against it this evening against one of the Group E favourites, and results earlier on have gone Croatia's way. The fact that Israel managed to earn a point away in Russia, good news for Croatia, who've got England to come on Wednesday night. They get us underway. The bookmakers had them amongst the hottest favourites of the international sides today. They're expected to deliver. The question is, by how many? For the captain Niko Kovac, who got one of the warmest welcomes when his name was read out. He starting alongside his brother Robert Kovac, the younger of the two, and coach Slaven Bilic, who's been there and done it as a player. Some 44 caps for Croatia. He was part of the great side in the 90s that had success at Euro 96, and of course third placed in World Cup 1998 in France. But this just his third match in charge this evening as coach of Croatia. They got off to a decent start with a point against Russia. Again, possession football. Kovac content to play in that holding role in between midfield and defence. Sweep the ball out right. Again, unable to make use of possession, Croatia, in the early stages. And you do know if they can make that pay, they'll get vocal support from this crowd. One of the most difficult places to come and play international football. They're unbeaten in qualifying campaigns in Europe. No one has ever won a European Championship fixture here at the home of Zagreb. Schörner bearing down the right, looking for support. Again, the pass was wasteful. For Sonerji. the more experienced in the lineup, 60-odd caps for Andorra. Again, that's a wasteful ball. Croatia somewhat impatient in the early stages. Kovac, very much the leader off this side. It was a gorgeous floated pass out right. Again to Kovac. Touch from Modric. Blue shirts around the Croatian man, and it will be a free kick one for the home side. It was who went down under the challenge, and defending to do. Poldo Alvarez, recently voted Andorra's best player of the last 50 years. He's more experienced than most. There's a late word from Ivan Klasnic to the two, citing goal now. Petric is one, and it will be he straight at the wall. Simonic. Simonic, who was one of two Croatian players red carded against Australia in the World Cup, against the nation of his birth. Defending, that was by Ayala. Again, Andorra very much 11 men behind the ball. Simonic. He has it again on the left. He's got a willing runner in Modric. His men over here, there's a chance. It was just too high, and only just too high. Anywhere will do for Andorra at the moment. And I thought for a moment that Croatia got goal side, but the assistant on the far side was immediate with the flag. You see the floated cross again, and under pressure couldn't angle the header in on goal. Though that just went beyond the line, but referee waves play on. Opening 5 minutes, and it's all Croatian pressure, but they've not done much with it yet. And look at Modric, 21-year-old, among the youngest in this up-and-coming Croatian side. Just caught sight of the number 2, Dario Simic, the most cap player in Croatian history. This is 84th cap of the evening. Interesting to see how he and Dario Srna get on this evening down that right flank. Srna, never busybody. Pass just too far for Kranjčar. He, of course, the son of the most recently departed Croatian coach, Zlatko Kranjčar, who led them to the World Cup. Disappointment there, felt keenly back home, and the main reason why Slaven Bilic is now in charge of Croatia. Kovac, not to Siminic. Already that pair have had most of the ball for Croatia. That was a neat turn in midfield. Now it might open up. Again, feet tangling, and Andora with bodies behind the ball. It's floated in, and it was with pace. It was a dangerous looking one. Klasnic was in there. Klasnic it was who got a touch on it, but too much of a touch, and it just glanced wide. Bremen man who some have suggested hasn't quite been able to deliver at international level as he has done in the Bundesliga. Scored 15 times last season. Bremen just picked to the post by Bayern Munich once again. Finding space down this right. Firecracker from the far side off the Maximir. It always is an occasion here in Zagreb. The referee's just going to hold up play while that firecracker on the far side is removed. Rodrigo, the coach of Andorra, did have a stint in Spanish league football. Took Binafar to the 3rd division in La Liga. University educated man who is hoping that somehow his Andorra side can outthink Croatia this evening. It's a tough task. Modric. Picked in towards Klasnic, and at full stretch, Koldo Alvarez manages to get his weight and body behind it. An early sight of goal for Klasnic. He rose high. The header was accurately downward, but comfortable enough in the end for the goalkeeper. Terrific tackle that was from Severa on the left. A shot there of the naturalised Brazilian Eduardo da Silva, Rio born. He came over to Croatia to indeed Zagreb to join Dynamo as a 16-year-old. He was naturalised then and figured in the under-21 scene before making his international debut a couple of years ago, but he's been scarcely used since then. This is only his 8th international appearance this evening, but he's already bagged a couple of goals. He's a live wire threat. He scores on average more than 1 and 2 for Zagreb, and indeed he scored 8 goals in his last 8 games in the Croatian league. And he's a danger man who will take advantage if given the opportunity. For Simic, looking there for Modric, but once again there was a handy Andorran boot on hand just to flee and avert the danger. Still it's not over. The flick on came from Da Silva. He's looking for Petric. Kovac. Here's one of the most talented youngsters in Croatian football, Niko Kranjčar. And he has already scored at international level. Record-breaking signing, went for a lot of money when he moved from Split to Zagreb. Some £1.2 million, the equivalent of. And went for an awful lot of money. The feeling is, I think, in Croatia that he may well be freed of the burden. His father's moved on now, no longer coaching. That just might ease the expectations on his young shoulders. Korluka looking to take on his man. Not much space for the right back. Flicked on, there's a chance here, and the flag has stayed down, and it's a goal, and Croatia 1 up, and the goal coming from Petric. Just a gentle nod of the head in ascension from Slaven Bilic, but it's a wonderful start for Croatia. And where were the markers? Was it offside? And the answer might be yes. The actual goal scorer, Petric, came from an onside position. He was onside. 2 players either side of him were offside, and the referee would deem that not interfering with play. And then after some huffing and puffing, Croatia in front. It was well worked down the right flank with Korluka. The cross came in, and it was as easy as you like for Petric. Just the start that Slaven Bilic and Croatia were looking for. In goes Petric, the goal scorer. Kovac into the area, that was swiped away. Not quite to safety though. Croatia throwing numbers forward, another chance for Petric. It could have been 2 goals in a minute. It was a wonderful chance again for the goal scorer. He looks to the heavens, he knows he should have done better. Well, it was a tentative opening 10 minutes or so, but they made the breakthrough. Croatia looking lively now. Simic looking for Klasnic, who was well marshalled. Might well go Andora's way. Kovac who was tussling alongside Denis Garcia. Garcia wins Andora the free kick. They'll be grateful for the respite. The away side, they conceded some 55 goals in European Championships, make that number 56. And perhaps as straightforward as any of the others that Andorra have conceded, or indeed Croatia scored. Neat football from the away side, almost opening up the opportunity on the right flank. Good work that from Luka Modric, retaining possession, dragging players out of position. Simic knocked out by Niko Kranjčar. Again, Croatia probing for the openings. Modric really is twinkle-toed, the 21-year-old. When he gets on the ball, he can make things happen. Helped away by Puyol. He was looking for the run of Garcia. Eduardo da Silva with a touch to Simic. Kranjčar. The Brazilian continues his run. It's a neat flick. It's a wonderful opening. And again, it's just wide, and again, it's Mladen Petric with a shot. Well, he could have had a hat-trick. Delicately positioned at the edge of the D, and he just skewed it beyond the upright. Luka drops it on to Eduardo. Kovac. Eduardo into his favorite left foot. Again, he's opened up the play just too much on the pass for Kranjčar. Wolf whistles and catcalls from the stands. But a goal up, and the home fans want more. Free kick to be taken by Marcio Vieira. Maybe a throw in. Yeah, one in the end by Juli Sanchez. Only 4 off the starting 11 for Andorra have actually scored at international level. And goals are few and far between. And how they'd love to get one tonight. It's like a training game at times, isn't it? So much possession. Here's Modric, switches play all the way out for Kurluka. And takes on the left back Rubio. And would appear to have won himself a set piece. Dangerous position this for Croatia. Looks like Mladen Petric, the goal scorer, it will be to take it. Just a couple of yards in from the far side. Many of the big men are forward. Simic is in there. It was aimed at the near post. Kurluka carried on his run. Petric inside to Modric. Robert Kovac. Back to Modric. Kurluka. Modric continues his run. Drives it across and it's just over. It was a well-worked move. It was Ivan Klasnic who couldn't apply the finishing touch. Terrific move it was down the right-hand side involving Kurluka, who's 1-2 with Modric, set up the opportunity, and Ivan Klasnic with the slightest of touches on the angle, and he just clipped it over the area. Judged to be a free kick. It was Vedran Kurluka with the challenge. Again, some breathing space perhaps as we approach the half hour. Croatian fans will be delighted with what they saw earlier on today in Group E. England, who went into their match against Macedonia with 100% record, 6 points from 6 in 2 matches, but they were held. And also Russia and Israel tying, so Croatia could be in the driving seat. They've got England to come on Wednesday night. That is going to be the crunch match potentially in Group E, although the final match, interestingly, in Croatia's European qualifying campaign will be in England on the 21st of November of next year. Whether that'll be at Wembley or not remains to be seen. Football fans will know that it's become something of a standing joke in England. The redeveloped and upgraded Wembley, when will it be ready? It's supposed to be ready for the FA Cup final last season, but not so. And we wait with bated breath. Simonic. It's a neat touch that by Kranjčar. You can see in his faster paces how quick-witted and skillful the youngster is. Eduardo helps it on. Kranjčar again. Patient build-up, the key for Croatia this evening, with Andora forcing so many bodies behind the ball. Kovac took a chance there looking for Petric. Might open up now for Simonic. Puts it in towards Klasnic. Just too many blue shirts behind the ball. Niko Kovac. Flag's gone up. It was a terrifically driven ball in towards Eduardo, but the assistant on the far side, Philip Agius, and his flag up immediately. Good call. It wasn't Klasnic in possession, ironically. It was Petric just a yard or so behind him. Croatia on the burst again. Terrific skill. Eduardo has continued his run. Klasnic helped out by Kovac, dinked forward, and anywhere will do for Andorra. It was Ayala who flicked it on, and for now away from danger. So much hustled off that again. Combination of Ayala and Juli Fernandez. Terrific control from the shaven-headed forward, and sets up another dangerous opportunity for the home side. And they've come close with the Petric header wide. Klasnic just a couple of minutes ago with that delicate flick. Another flare comes hurtling onto the playing surface, and this will delay proceedings. still more players coming on, and there's firemen scurrying to the rescue. Play can go on now. Kranjčar, dangerous one, and through the smoke the goalkeeper Alvarez just about managed to see what he was doing, and he launches one forward. I mean, one blue shirt to aim at. Simic deals with that comfortably for Croatia. Ayala. He's looking for Juli Sanchez, who managed to get goal side of Robert Kovac, but only briefly. That'll be a free kick, and so strong was the challenge on Kovac's boot came off. And if the referee will have another look at this. I think, in fairness to Marcio Vieira, it was as he went after the ball, after the challenge, that he stood on Kovac's foot. At least the coach can afford a giggle, and alongside him you can see blonde hair, one of the greats of Croatian football, Robert Prosinecki. What a terrific player he was. Smoked 40 a day, you know. Didn't stop him. Terrific, terrific midfielder. Well, the smoke is just about cleared here from the Maximir, and the bare bones of it that Croatia have looked comfortable. Just over 15 minutes of the match remaining. It's a question of how far, by how many do Croatia win by, but no room for complacency. The goal tally and the goals for column might just tell the story of qualification come next Christmas. And now, a rare moment of worry for Croatia and their fans, because a free kick for Andora. It must be 25 yards from goal. Stipe Kadikosa, it is in the goal for Croatia. Tony Severa, Marco Pujol, 2 of 3 Andorra players over the set piece. I think it'll be Pujol straight at the wall. That was a terrible challenge on Klasnic, who was back defending. That'll be a free kick. It'll be a yellow card as well. And no surprise. Lunging challenge from Garcia. And a yellow card shown. First card off the campaign for Garcia, who's played in the 2 previous matches. Andorra losing by 5 goals to 0 away to England, and they lost 4-1 away to Israel as well. There's a chance of going further behind as Eduardo with the run and shot, and the fingertips from Alvarez averting the danger. Perhaps just squeezing wide anyway, but a corner kick now for Croatia. Ayala is who's marking Eduardo. He's just about the only Croatian body in the 6-yard area. And he got the touch, and that'll be a goal kick. Andorra have had a tricky opening to their 2008 qualifying campaign. In fact, it couldn't have been much harder. Away to England, away to Israel, and away to Croatia. They've lost 5-0 and 4-1 so far, and they're a goal down here in Zagreb, but they will be looking forward to seeing their old chums Macedonia on Wednesday night, and that'll be back at the Stadio Comunal. Seen one of their great victories over Macedonia. First ever win in international football Some 2 years ago, almost 2 years to the week in fact, when Marc Barneau's strike gave them their solitary victory in international football. And Modric scampering after that. Captain Kovac none the worse for that challenge earlier, by the way. Fans in good spirits, as they often are here in Zagreb. Amongst the most colourful fans in international football, they made quite an impact at the World Cup. I remember back in Euro '96 in England, the Croatian fans made many friends. The best goals perhaps we've ever seen from any Croatian player. That delicate chip from Suker over the Danish keeper Peter Schmeichel. Simic inside the final 10 minutes, just that solitary goal, the difference between the sides. The pressure from Croatia not quite telling, and the sort of pace that they play the game, Croatia, very much a patient approach. Robert Kovac, he's got help to his left in the shape of Kranjčar. Poor first touch, that rarely from Klasnic, who looks to win it back, but Ayala brings it clear for Andora. He needs support, he needs help. There's 4 red and white shirts surrounding him. Simic. Kovac. Ian, his brother, just played it to his brother. He won't thank him for that at the dinner table later. Both born in Berlin, of Croatian parents. Both played their football in Germany as well. Here's Petric, he looks so comfortable in possession. Terrific skill out towards Kranjčar. Simic flights one in. Modric. Ayala was with the challenge, still with Modric. He's got help out right. Eduardo has gone down in the area. There's appeals for a penalty. The referee's having none of it. There was certainly contact. No doubt about that. There was contact. It's in the area. Perhaps the crowd were right to be asking for something. It was a clumsy challenge at best from Jordi Rubio. kick, and it's gone the captain's way. Niko Kovac really does lead by example. I've seen him on numerous occasions in the Bundesliga for Hertha Berlin, and he has now moved to Austrian football, playing Salzburg. He flights it in towards Simonic, who wins his header in towards the far post, and it's 2-0, and it's 2 on the night for Mladen Petric. Well, the first one was fairly straightforward from some 15 yards out. This time he scored from barely a yard, and he came from a free kick initially, which seemed to have been half cleared, but it was a towering header from Simonic, and rising tall at the far post was Mladen Petric, who doubles up his earlier strike to make it 2-0. Nice tonic that for Croatia as well, just before the break. Gives them a platform on which to build in the second half. Things pretty much going to plan here in Zagreb. Confirmation of the 2 goals. Almost on the quarter hour, and 6 minutes before half-time as well, and some faces of consternation there on the Andora bench. David Rodrigo and his team. Chance here though from the corner kick, floated in by Puljo, and Wade. It was by, guess who? Petric. He's been everywhere. Really impressed by him tonight. Simonic set up the second goal, wins Croatia a throw in. Could have played for Australia. Simonic, he was born in Australia. He played for Melbourne Knights, which is one of the Croatian sides in Australia, Croatian league sides I should say. If you look back on the simple tap in from close range from Petric. Delighted Bilic, the coach on the sidelines, who knows what it's like to score at international level himself. He managed to score 3 times himself in the Czech shirt. Modric, certainly a player that many spies from European clubs have their eyes on, but you can keep their eyes off. He's been signed to a 10-year deal by Dinamo Zagreb. They know how good he is, and they do not want to let him go. Corner kick. It'll be taken. An in-swinger from Petric, actually suited to he on the far side. Is another flare, comes in from behind the stand, behind the goal there, quite some way that the stands from the playing area. You can see there's a running track around the playing surface, and despite the fact there is that gap, there is a great wall of sound. Terrific delivery, and in the end I'm not quite sure how much Sonoshi knew about that. Vieira it was who flicked the header over to number 8. Going to be a 4th corner kick for Croatia, this time from the right, this time taken by Kranjčar. It's a decent delivery, it's a terrific stop. Good save, dangerous, not quite over. And Simonic making a nuisance of himself, but illegally, said the referee. Well, almost a third. And but for the agile goalkeeping of Coldo Alvarez, it would have been a goal for the captain. Niko Kovac it was, who just angled it in on goal, on target, and away by Alvarez. And you see the goal once again, and it was made by Simonic. He wanted that header, he made it his own, and he just teed it up for Petric. Korluka started each of the European Championship qualifiers so far. He was involved in the away draw in Russia last month, playing tonight. This is just his third cap. He was involved in the friendly against Italy as well. Here's Modric. This time he looked to clip it in with the outside of his right boot, and he couldn't squeeze it past Garcia. He's conceded yet another corner kick to Croatia. Terrific skills from Modric. You can see how highly rated he is at home, the 21-year-old. Just his 10th cap this evening. Given space, he can create mayhem, he can cause damage from midfield. Mario Simic towards Eduardo. It's a dangerous one back in from Puyol. Put his side under pressure and able to keep it in. Counting down then to the half. And I think Slaven Bilic will be contented with the opening 45. And his opposite counterpart, David Rodrigo, will be disappointed with the nature of the goals that Andorra have conceded. They have been soft, straightforward from Croatia's point of view. Korluka towards Eduardo, terrific skill, set up the opportunity, and in the end it was the point after good. Johnny Wilkinson would have been proud of it. I don't think Niko Kovac is. But into time added on, there's going to be 3 minutes of added time at the end of this first half, where others in this group, England and Russia, have stuttered and stumbled this afternoon. Croatia have made light of what was seen as a formality beforehand. Petric, the goal scorer, who's on a hat-trick. Modric, he's got Simonic to his left, in towards Ivan Klasnic. He squares it, it's a terrific opening. Perhaps he could have had a shot on goal. It was unselfish play from Klasnic. And you fancy that as Andorra tire, the gaps will appear. Klasnic again, terrific delivery. This time just showed too much of that to Koldo Alvarez. Straightforward ball in towards Klasnic, who squared it and just couldn't meet any of the on-rushing Croatian players. Luka once again, is that a corner kick? He'll be disappointed. No, it isn't. Inside the final minute then of this first half. No real threat to the Croatian goal. Andorra playing tactically, just the one man in the Croatian half. They've defended stoutly, but not quite been able to stem the flow. Interesting to see if Slaven Bilic keeps things up or changes anything at the interval, because they will go into that interval 2 goals to the good. It's been pretty much straightforward and plain sailing for Croatia, much to the delight of their coach and the fans. And the star of the show so far, no doubt about it, has been that man, the number 21, Mladen Petric, who scored on 14 minutes with a header from on the penalty spot when he was in plenty of space. And just 6 minutes before the interval, a Simovic header towards the far post, and Petric rose tallest to nod home from just a yard. The difference between the sides, he's on a hat-trick. Croatia looking for more goals in the second half. At half-time here at the Maksimir in Zagreb, it is Croatia 2, Andorra 0. Against lowly Andorra, who are rated 160th in the FIFA rankings, and that of 198 sides. They are down in the lower echelons of international football. Croatia not quite the force they were in the mid to late 90s, when they really surged upon the international scene. Euro 96 quarter-final defeat narrowly to Germany by the only goal in 3, and of course against the eventual winners of that tournament. And in World Cup 1998 they thrashed Germany in the quarter-finals 3-0. They beat France. They lost to France, sorry, by the only goal. France, of course, went on to win it, and then they beat Holland in the 3rd place playoff. Since then, they've slipped somewhat down the rankings, but new blood in Croatian football, and one of those, that man in your picture now, Mladen Petric, a 25-year-old who plays his football in Switzerland for Bâle, and scoring his 2nd and 3rd international goals this evening to give Croatia that cushion of a 2-goal advantage. Make no mistake, they're expected to win this evening, expected to win comfortably. It's damage limitation now for Andorra, who shared a joke with the referee Anthony Zamet, who's ready to go for the second half. And the Croatian fans will be hoping for more of the same in the remaining 45. They've got their sights set on bigger things. They'll be hoping to toast a victory this evening, and a comfortable one at that. It'll be Andorra in their blue shirts to play from right to left in the second half. Luis Sanchez and Marco Puyol, both scorers at international level for the Pyrenees side. Something to try the grandkids once upon a time. One or two final adjustments being made, checks sorted, and we're underway in the second half. Well done, Korluka sweeping the play. Simovic knocked out by Luka Modric. Here's Modric looking for Ivan Klasnic, who did have that chance early in the first half, and just clipped it over the on-rushing goalkeeper Alvarez. It wasn't far over. Petric into the area, he couldn't quite control it, he tried to keep it in play. He's looked as lively as anybody this evening. 2 goals so far, testament to that. I suspect that at the back of their minds, and Slaven Bilic no doubt will have warned them against complacency, but you do fancy that at the back of the minds for Croatia will be the fact there is that tantalising fixture on Wednesday night here in Zagreb against England. One of the pre-tournament favourites, and certainly fancies to win the group. What an outstanding opportunity now Croatia have to take that mantle themselves. This evening to see Croatia leap into third place, alongside Macedonia on 4 points. Of course, they do have that game in hand as well. Kranjčar. Delicate touch that was towards Petrov. He's not scared to have a go, and what a finish it was. Only a couple of minutes into the second half, and it's a hat-trick for Mladen Petric. And of the 3 he scored this evening, that the best of the lot by some way. It was a terrific finish. It was a neat touch inside from Kranjčar, but there was still plenty of work to be done. And having turned his man Sonushi, Petric finds the angle, and it was an unerring dart into the corner of the net. No chance at all for Alvarez. It's worth another look from the other angle. Twinkle told. He hardly looked up. He knew where the goal was, and he found it. A salute to the crowd, and acknowledgement from the coach, and deservedly so. That really has lit up the second half, and you just suspect there might be more to come now, and more pain perhaps for Andora. The sides have met before during qualifying for Euro 2004, and although Croatia won both those matches, it wasn't by a landslide. They won by a couple of goals away at the Stadio Comunale in 2003. In September of 2003 they won by tonight's margin, 3-0 they scored here 3 years ago during qualifying for Euro 2004. They've set that benchmark, and you fancy they could extend themselves if they fancy. And that's a wonderful angle from behind the striker, and no, just kind of muted celebration. I think he enjoyed that one though. I think he knows he did something special. Simic, who actually was on the score sheet when Croatia beat Andora. Here's another one. My goodness me, it's a 4th. And it's a 4th for guess who? It's turning into the Mladen Petric show. 2 goals in just over a minute from Petric, and his 4th on the evening. And again, it was fairly straightforward. Simic was involved. It was Klasnic, and the delivery was terrific. Under the despairing arm of Alvarez. Great run from Klasnic, and side-footed into the path of the on-rushing Petric, who can't miss tonight and wasn't going to miss there. The goalkeeper's furious, and the fact that one of his defenders slipped while Petric made his run didn't help, but maybe there's a young Mladen Petric in the making in the stands. 2 goals in 2 minutes with just 5 minutes of the second half gone, and Croatia lead by 4. Luka. Kovac. Spaces are opening now. Korluka just too close to Alvarez. And 2 Croatian players waiting to pounce on the pieces, and guess what? He was one of them. The last man this evening. I think you want to offer an opportunity up to Mladen Petric. The 25-year-old has helped himself tonight. Kovac. First touch wasn't his best, but he continues his run. Korluka. Attempted cross deflected. And I think the Andoran defence won't thank Marco Puliol for the attempted tricks. change. On and set to come on. There's Antonio Gomez. But it'll be Jordi Escura to come on.
U ekipi Andore iz igre izlazi igrač broj 9 Sanchez Sotojulia.
In fact, it's Sanchez who's coming off. So Sanchez is off in his stead. In fact, it's going to be Juan Carlos Toscano to come on. I think they were holding up number 13 initially. As you see, easy side foot from Petric to add the fourth for Croatia. Klasnic took a nasty bump in the back for his pains there, but he wins the free kick. Eduardo. Just snuffed out. Eduardo picking up the pieces. Done well there. Terrific work. Here is Carluca in towards Petric. Well, he went unselfishly to head it back across the goal, and Ivan Klasnic had already made his run beyond him. You can afford to be magnanimous when you've scored 4 on the night. Here is Petric. Got to be a free kick. Modric has a goal. In the end, too much pace and power and elevation on the shot. Here's the goal once again. Delivery was A1, and the finish is comfortable enough in the end. And a tough night's work for Koldo Alvarez, the 36-year-old who has been on the receiving end numerous times, and most recently, in fact, the worst defeat when losing by 8-1 against the Czech Republic. That came in qualifying for World Cup 2006. The worst defeat in the European Championships came away to Russia in 2000. They lost by 6-1 on that night. Russia in this group, that's a journey they'll have to make again. Simic with a floated pass, but again, just too much weight on it. Enjoying some success, Croatia, early in the second half down that left flank. Simic knows he could have done, perhaps should have done better. Slaven Bilic, the coach, would be delighted with his team and pleased with his start as coach of the international side. He had to think long and hard. There were great debates in the Bilic household whether or not he should take up the post, and he and his family were unanimous in their vote that he should do it, give it his all. And so far so good for the 37-year-old. And that should be a free kick. In fact, it's gone the other way. I think Petric with the foul. Come off the hand of the Skura, but he had been pushed before. Well, head of that by Kovac. Sonicci anywhere will do. Just wonder now the score is comfortable enough whether Bilic will make any changes. A, with Wednesday night against England in mind. B, giving others the opportunity. Interesting this evening that Dario Suna and also Ivica Golic are not in the squad. They, of course, 2 of the 3 players were sent home in disgrace training camp last month leading up to the game against Russia. Touch for Severa. Balaban is the other player involved in that. Here's Modric running, chance for Klasnic, must be, and it is. Eventually, it was only after the second attempt that it was scrambled over by Ivan Klasnic. The smiles all round, both on and off the field, and it's 5-0 now to Croatia. Again it was down the left, this time it was Modric. He set it on a plate, and although Alvarez made the initial stop, he couldn't prevent Klasnic from scoring his 8th international goal. A sense of frustration as he bundled the ball over. It was almost the fisherman's tale. It was nearly the one that got away. And relief as much as anything from Ivan Klasnic. Modric with the square ball, and just as minutes ago it was set up for Petric, this time his playmate up front, Klasnic, adds another. 5-0. Ayala. And still over half an hour of the match remaining. It is a question of how many now. Modric, sort of player that given space can do damage, and as you just saw, Kovac, Vedran Kurluka. Three goals in 10 second half minutes for Croatia. The great and the good. Delighted with what they've seen so far. And I think, although eagerly anticipating the arrival of England on Wednesday night. It's going to be another change. Just the Ruiz is coming on this time. And Tony Severa will be going off. So just Ruiz on for his 56th cap this evening. Plays his football for Rangers FC, not to be confused with the Glasgow Giants. Plays his football in Andora. And also coming on and replacing the 4-goal hero Mladen Petric off to a hero's reception, and rightly so. It's been a masterclass in finishing and striking this evening from the 25-year-old. With 4 of the 5 goals, and what a strike rate that is. 10th appearance this evening and 5 international goals. Not bad at all. On in his place, Bosko Balaban. And interesting there, just 1 or 2 whistles from the crowd, and it may well have something to do with the incident where he was banished from training camp and sent home in disgrace before the most recent match. It's another goal! It was a terrific delivery, and Balaban has only been on about 30 seconds and he scores immediately. How about that for a substitution, and how about that for an introduction? The cheers might well turn now to cheers. Looping, stooping header from Balaban. Scores his 10th international goal and a 6th on the night for Croatia. What a way to silence the critics. Duško Balaban, who Aston Villa fans will remember, although not many Villa fans got a chance to see Balaban in his 3-year stint at Villa Park. He only appeared 8 times over the course of 3 seasons. An expensive disappointment he proved to be in English football, but he's made his mark this evening and continues to do so for Bruges in Belgium. You've just seen Petric being interviewed by Croatian television, milking the occasion, and rightly so. Eduardo, wonderful technique, but too much pace on the ball. Kovac helps that on towards Karluka, whose deliveries from the right flank have been quite splendid this evening. Here's a chance to pop another one in. He's towards Klasnic. Modric under pressure. He got off the shot, but he couldn't find the accuracy. Here's a look at Balaban's goal. No chance at all for Alvarez, and one goal scorer applauds another. The bench delighted with that. Eduardo has put in a decent shift this evening. He's off. He'll be replaced by Marko Babic, again some experience, and that'll pretty much be like for like, both left-footed. Babic, who places football in Germany in the Bundesliga for Leverkusen. He's been with them for 6 seasons. Here's the touch for Babic. Kovac asking the referee for some protection. It's not the first time he's gone down under a challenge this evening. He's quite needled by that. It was a lunge from Toscano. I think he felt there should have been a card shown. And you see it, confirmation. There will be a yellow for Toscano, but only the second of the evening. Jonas Garcia was the other. But maybe just a sense of frustration now for Andorra. They have quite literally in this second half been hit for 6. Modric has switched flank. Now that Babic is on, this will give them alternatives down both flanks now. Croatia, Babic on the left, Modric now on the right. Karluka, here is Modric. And he's looking for the intricate 1-2 with Karluka, who plays the give goal. Karluka, opportunity, and it's just strayed past Balaban. He was just a foot ahead of the ball. They're looking to play in Babic on the left, and flicked away by Ruiz. Confusion in the area, wasn't there, for Andorra? And it's a terrific 1-2 involving Klasnic and Karluka, the right back, who, for my money, has played some of the most precise passes and crosses of the evening. He looks something of a find, doesn't he? Future would appear to be bright and rosy for Croatia. Karluka only 22. Petric, the 4-goal hero tonight, 25. Luka Modric, 21, and Niko Kranjčar, 22. Some of their best years still ahead of them, and Croatian fans will be hoping that's in Switzerland and Austria in 2 years' time at the European Championship finals. Certainly well on their way in Group E. And who knows, Wednesday night, a win against England could take them to the top, and could well see them in pole position for this group. Luis Garcia's coming off. He'll be replaced by Manolo Jimenez, I think it is, who's set to come on.
I treća zamjena u reprezentaciji Andore. Iz igre izlazi igrač broj 7 Garcia Isklađenis, a ulazi Jimenez Soria Manuel.
Garcia had already been booked. Jergo Leco's ready to come on as well. So, much changed, both sides, as we head inside the final segue. Where's the captain coming off? And is that because of an injury? He's limping somewhat, Niko Kovac. Would be a slight worry with Wednesday night in mind, but perhaps just as a precaution, and just listen to the warmth of the reception for Niko Kovac. He is so well loved, leads by example. And Croatian fans will be hopeful that he's fit and ready to captain the side in midweek. I don't think the expression from David Rodrigo's changed much throughout the evening. He started it looking somewhat concerned, and the situation has not changed now. His side have conceded 6. Kovac carrying on the family tradition. Now his brother has left the field. Simonic. Touch for Leko. Modric. There's a touch for the substitute Ruiz. He was just barged off that by Vedran Kurluka. He really is a giant. I've been impressed with him this evening, both he and Modric as well, but particularly Petric, who's watching from the bench. Modric looking for the 1-2, but he takes the return pass courtesy of Ruiz, who flicks it on towards Jimenez. The substitutes combining. I don't think they've had more than a minute or so's possession throughout the evening, Andorra. It really has been an uphill struggle. And there percentage of possession just tells its own story. Nearly 70% possession for Croatia. Simonic went down under the challenge there. Referee waves play on. Kovac. Ivan Klasnic couldn't take it in his stride. Any responsibility on the likes of Klasnic now that Persil, real international star, but he has retired from international football due to persistent knee injury. Still playing domestically, of course, in Scotland for Rangers. And he will be much missed, but the future looks bright enough. Kranjčar sets himself for the shot, but he was looking for the clever pass to Klasnic, who may have been injured in that incident. Jimenez. There's a chance perhaps for Klasnic. He might fall to Babic. It was with the left foot swipe. He knows he should have done better. And why not? Coldo Alvarez, whose real name is Jesus Luis Alvarez de la Ulate. Bit of a mouthful. Us commentators grateful for the nickname Coldo, by which he's affectionately and more commonly known. Not been able to do too much this evening. Made one or two terrific stops in the first half, the Andoran stopper, but hardly helped by the men in front of him, and he's conceded 6 this evening. Croatia might be looking for a European record against Andorra if they can score one more. Modric. And he's looking for the intricate pass inside to Klasnic. Andorra still have tough trips away to Russia. And still got to play Croatia at home, obviously. Israel at home to come. England in the Pyrenees to look forward to as well. 2 big matches for them will come against Macedonia. Potentially a couple against Estonia as well in August and November of next year. Macedonia, though, at home, the Stadio Comunale on Wednesday night will be the one they're looking forward to, and certainly an attainable 3 points potentially. It's all about building for the future for Andorra, but it's all about confidence and kicking on for Croatia. In towards Klasnic. To take it first time on his left foot. He didn't have much in the way of support. A chance for Andorra. Scano. He's got support out wide from Puyol. He himself needs support. And no way past Babic. Couldn't quite keep it in. A fair challenge. Indeed it was. Throw in. Kovac got a toe, but again concedes a throw in. They've launched 3 shots forward, but only 1 in the danger zone, Andorra. And even at this late stage, not committing. The shot comes in speculatively, and Vidikosa takes that comfortably enough. And as easy a night's work as the 27-year-old has possibly ever enjoyed. Here is Korluka in towards Klasnic. Well, he did all the hard work, Klasnic, and he holds his head, feeling perhaps he could have done better. Again, the work and the groundwork done by Vedran Korluka down the right. Klasnic just leaning back and always spinning wide of the upright. Zagreb have got 1 or 2 players on their hands, haven't they? Korluka is one. Eduardo is off now, but we've got Modric as well. Real talented and young talented players coursing through their domestic side. And players, of course, are comfortable playing in this stadium. Leko asking for Klasnic to make the run. Looking to play more direct now, Croatia, aren't they? They were patient down the flanks previously, but they're looking centrally to Klasnic at the moment, and they're not having much joy. Well, you're on the telly, folks. Enjoy. And enjoy they are. Good to see so many young Croatian fans here this evening. It's certainly not quite at full capacity, it has to be said, but I can tell you one thing: Wednesday night the noise will be deafening. You'll be here in force, it'll be packed out, and the reception for England will be quite something. Let me just remind you, no side has ever won a European qualifier here in Zagreb. Italy have tried, Yugoslavia have tried, Republic of Ireland have tried, Bulgaria and Belgium have all tried. None have come away with 3 points from a fixture in Europe at this ground. It'll be a tough task for England midweek. Korluka just showed too much of that to Ayala. Modric leaves it midfield for Leko. Used to play here in Zagreb, Jörg Leko, now in France with Monaco. And that'll be a free kick, conceded by Rubio on Korluka. Deceptively quick, the big man, isn't he? Felt the weight of that one, though. He's not too keen to take the set piece. The numbers forward and defending to do for Andorra. There's two players in the wall. Rubio, who conceded the free kick, is one of those. Modric might well be involved in the set piece. Encouragement from the bench. They expect Modric just behind the players in the end. Being played at training pace at the moment. There's confirmation of the goals. Petric with 4 of them. Klasnic and Balaban adding to the tally. He had 4 goals in 14 second half minutes. Kranjčar. Not seen too much of him tonight, have we? Content to play more of a holding role. Certainly now that Niko Kovac is off. Siminic. Alvarez, the veteran of this Andorran side. Babic. Leko to Modric. He's got help right as ever in the shape of Korluka. Modric. Will he attack? Simic hardly had a mention throughout the match, full stop, certainly not second half, and that's a margin of how little he's had to do at the back. Simic always likes to get forward. That's a wasted one. Korluka tries to retrieve it for Croatia. A touch for Escura. Looking for Toscano. He's 1-on-2 briefly, but got himself tangled. I don't think his mind and feet were working on the same wavelength there. Comfortable enough for Dario Simic to draw clear. Kranjčar. Modric. Need a bit of width, Croatia. Kranjčar, neat touch on towards Modric. Yes, he can, and in some style. And it's the 7th for Croatia, and it was created by the young midfielders Kranjčar and Modric. 21 and 22 years old, the pair. And no hope once again for Alvarez. Second international goal for Luka Modric on just his 10th international appearance, and he looks at home on this stage. And that, statistically, the worst defeat, if it stays this way, that Andora have suffered in European Championship qualifying. Well, it was the Mladen Petric show for the first 50 minutes. He's taken a back seat, literally, on the bench and sat back and watched the others do it. Just over 5 minutes off the match of normal time remaining. Now we're to get some icing on top of what's been a delicious cake for Croatian fans this evening. And that's a wonderful floated ball, the goal scorer Modric. Defender Ayala did just about enough, but twinkle-toed Modric finds space for the cross just beyond Klasnic, whose first touch wasn't up to scratch. Mr. Scano, he's looked lively enough since he came on. He might have won a free kick, just no support at all. If you look back on the skills from Modric, he nutmegged Ayala. It's just a case of now planning the after party. Won't be too much in the way of celebrations though, and formality it was seen as, and mission accomplished, with the bigger fish to fry in the coming weeks and months. Ruiz towards Toscano. In the end, run out of play. Jimenez, the substitute, he's barely had a touch. Kranjčar. Modric. He's content to sit back on the halfway. Modric, I think he's tired himself out with the recent running up and down the flanks. Here he is again. Luka. Andora pressing in the closing minutes, keen to keep the score as low as possible. Simic looping one forward will be comfortable enough for Alvarez. That'll be a free kick. Is there to be a late Andorran consolation? Every goal for them is something off a mini celebration at international level, and certainly against such lofty European giants is Croatia. In towards Toscano. Goalkeeper Pleticosa was involved at the World Cup. He was in that 2-2 draw against Australia. Free kick conceded by Fernandez. He's been yellow carded, Julie Fernandez. He has. They'll do the shirt changing in a few minutes, chaps. Kranjčar's over it, some distance from goal. Too far out for a shot, but Simic plenty to aim at. Croatia opting for the patient build-up. Kranjčar has continued his run, found by Modric, and he just strayed beyond the offside line. Those pair who combined for the 7th. This time Modric played provider, and you can see there's 2 men offside. Klasnic nearest to us and Kranjčar who'd made the run. Babic. The game's lost some of its fizz with all the substitutions and changes. Kranjčar is looking to release Kurluka on the flank. Met by Vieira. Tarir Simic, record cap holder for Croatia. There goes Kurluka again. He deserves a goal if anyone does. Just too many Andorran bodies behind the ball. It's been a tough shift for the Pyrenees side. I think their agony is just about over. Alvarez. Long towards Ruiz. Got a touch. Andorra be keen to play out the remaining seconds of normal time in Croatia's half. Lerko on towards Babic. 3 minutes of time added on, just as there was at the end of the first half. Alvarez happy to see that one out of play. Well, there have been 1 or 2 minor upsets and surprises on the European front this afternoon. Scotland's win at home against France, not a major tremor on the Richter scale, but a surprise nonetheless. England's performance against Macedonia disappointing. Israel's point away at Russia, that was a magnificent performance. Andorra to get anything to even score this evening would have been a great surprise. There's only one other side that the bookies thought were as big or a bigger price this evening than Andorra. So favoured were Croatia by those that make the odds. They've completed the course in satisfactory fashion, and 1 or 2 bright sparks looking good for the future. Mladen Petric, the 4-goal hero, his name will be figuring on the back pages in Croatia tomorrow morning, alongside, I suspect, Luka Modric, and also Vedran Kurluka, the right back, whose 40s forward have sparked 1 or 2 off the goals this evening. And I suspect he will figure highly when it comes to rating performances tonight. Into the final minute of time added on. Modric might fall to Balaban, who was faced with 2 players and squeezed out in the end by Sonichi and Escura. Balaban, who scored within a minute of entering the fray. Seconds remaining of added time. It'll be Babic to take the final act, the corner kick. Floats it in towards the near post. Falls to Kranjčar, and I think the flag is up. Klasnic thought he had a second and an eighth for Croatia, but he was all alone in the 6-yard area, and that's invited the flag from the assistant on the far side. Kranjčar was with the shot, and well, the replay suggests that perhaps it wasn't offside. Despairing arms aloft from Ivan Klasnic, but no matter, he got on the score sheet alongside Modric and alongside Balaban and alongside the star of this evening's show, without doubt the 25-year-old Mladen Petric, who scored 4 times, and it was the 3 goals did for plucky Andora. Their worst ever defeat in European Championship qualifying. In the end, they've been hit by not 6 but 7. Croatia onwards and upwards, and perhaps looking to pole position in Group E. They have run out 7-goal winners. They'll be looking forward to Wednesday night here in Zagreb against England. That's something to look forward to. In the meanwhile, from the Maksimir in Zagreb, it's finished Croatia 7, Andorra 0.